So
she is a recluse, though, isn't she? I mean, she is a hermit.
well, actually, what I've heard is she isn't in town, that she's very friendly. She's not now. She's in poor health.
Yeah.
And she's had a stroke and some other stuff. But for years, she really was known in town. She has an apartment in New York, too. I haven't stalked her, by the way. But everybody in town that knows her knows that when media come to town, you do not talk about Harper Lake. You do not share, you know. If there's any media contact, it comes through her sister. So, anyway, so this woman wrote this about, you know, she's praised for her writing from Harper Lee, and I thought, I guess if you construe it the way she looks at it, yeah, okay, but it's sort of a stretch, you know. As I said, I talk way too much, so.
You have any questions for
Staff or freelance?
I'm sorry?
Would you rather be on staff or would you rather freelance?
Obviously, I would rather freelance. I mean, I'm not, the other advice I would give you, and this is so sad, and I'm sorry it's the case, but I would advise you to marry well. Somebody's got a job and can pay for the insurance. Now, my friend Deborah she's doing it on her own, and she's doing it successfully. And, you know, she is, and I have several friends that are making it. Most of them, I would say, have some specialty that they can fall back on. And I know people that do it otherwise. It's really a tough thing. But, you know, I have the luxury, and I have to check in every once in a while, and my husband's like, it's time for me to look for a real job, you know. But he's been very patient with me this year because I haven't had time to really look for work other than the book. And the book it's a lucrative thing if you look at the big picture. But in terms of how much time I actually spent on it, I don't know. I mean,
But your having been on staff has helped you freelance.
Exactly.
Too. I mean, same way with me, you know, when I tell people I wrote for Cooking, I was the editor of Cooking Light, or I was the food editor with Southern Living. And she and I use it all the time, you know, I mean, it helps.
yeah.
Not that you can't, but if you have the opportunity, like I told y'all, I went to Birmingham last week, and one of the things I did as a freelancer, you know, I thought, okay, two of my big sources of income are from Paula Deen, which is Hoffman Media, which is in Birmingham, and Oxmoor House, which is the book division of Southern Living. And so even though I didn't have any new work with them, I made a point to call Southern Living up at Oxmoor House, and I said, you know, I'm going to be in town and just wanted to let you know I'm there for a wedding, and I'm there, and if you need me to come in for anything, you got any new projects going, you know, just wanted to let you know I'm available. And they said, oh, well, since you're going to be here, why don't you come in? So I went in for an hour meeting, got a $3,000 job, and they're hiring 13 people for, while Southern Living, she's just telling me that last week they let go probably the last of the people that we knew on Southern Living magazine staff, took early retirement and all that, and I'm going into Oxmoor House the same day, and they're saying, well, you know, we got this new thing, we got this new project from General Mills, you know, those little tiny digests that you can pick up at the grocery store that change about every 2 weeks, and it'll say, you know, the best barbecue, that comes out in July, or the best comfort food. Well, General Mills just contracted with them to do 18 of those booklets, and they said, well, we've been given okay to hire 13 people to do these 18 booklets, and we're hoping that we're going to do more with General Mills, but we don't have anybody going yet. We need somebody to take the first one. It needs to be done by November the 5th.
What? Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious. I haven't had much sleep in the last, this was a really big break last week.
1 o'clock in the morning, don't you?
Because I was already doing the Paula Deen story that y'all know about, that they called and said, oh, you know, I should have signed this to you a month ago, but I forgot about it, and it's due like Friday, you know, of last week. So I was up all night finishing that thing when we were on the trip, and I even went to the little tiny library in the town we went to where my husband was from, where we had some legal work to do, and my son was at the house going through his daddy's stuff, and we're trying to clean it out and everything, and I said, I got to go to the library, so I find this library that's not really any bigger than this room, and it's the only place I can go to the internet, and I have, you know, 30 minutes to send the story in, because I've been writing it while I was driving from Auburn to this town in Georgia. And then Southern Living says, but we need this. They really wanted it. The first deadline was Friday. And I said, I don't get home till Thursday night. Well, can you do, well, maybe Monday. So I was up all Sunday night making sure that they got what they needed, the first installment. They want me to plan. I have to pick the photographs, I have to pick the recipes from certain sources, I have to write the copy, you know, and so what Nancy
This
was
is
saying.
Superwoman. I mean, she's like,
No.
she made dinner for
No
us
more than
last
you.
night.
But,
And, you know, she's so gracious,
Oh,
and she's
hush.
got workers all in her house. I'm like,
the whole thing is that, like what she was saying, you have to be a little bit of everything. I've got the spreadsheet, I'm having to design exactly where I want the recipes to go, exactly pick recipes that fit in that space because they're tear-out cards, figure out on the 5 pages of copy, what copy is gonna go there. It's on comfort food,
So are you working like with an InDesign on it, or are you just?
No,
No?
I'm just telling them, okay, page 1 this, page 1 that, you know, so I just have to tell them what they want and they put it on there. So what she's saying about be a little bit of everything, you know, and if I hadn't been on a staff and sat down with an artist, like what we used to do at Progressive Farmer, they'd say, come here, we got an ad that came in, you gotta cut 600 lines on the story. You go, oh my gosh. So you sit down at the computer with the designer and say, okay, let's cut that whole column and let me rewrite this section right here. And the artist sits there and does that and say, okay, well, can you just move that copy here? What about that? And the artist says, I mean, so you're working together. And if I hadn't had that experience, then it would be more difficult for me to kind of create this whole little booklet that they want like that.
yeah, that's the other thing. Your freelancer was the last one to be considered. It's, you know, it's not like, oh, I'm a freelancer, I have all this freedom and time. And
Your job is, what's that old saying that goes, my job is not to make up for your inability to plan. A freelancer's motto is exactly the opposite. My job is to make up for your inability to plan. And you need it yesterday? Okay, I don't need sleep. I don't have jury duty. I don't have this. I don't have that. You know, so they don't look at your personal life is about how to fix their problem.
they're not there to make you feel better or to, you know, to listen to your problems or whatever. You just don't have any problems when you talk to them. You know, it is all about the outcome.
Now, and how well you know your editor makes a big difference. This summer, when I was doing a story for Paula Dee, all of a sudden I was moving. I got hives. I mean, I was like, I felt like a dog with fleas. You know, everything was itching in the ear. I'm trying to be creative and everything. And finally, I wrote her. I said, I've had hives. I've had 3 steroid shots. I've had this. Can I please have 2 more days on the deadline? And she said, oh, I'm so sorry. That must be terrible. Well, yes, you can have 2 more days, but I gotta have it by this date. You know. So I'm going to the doctor and say, you got to give me something to give me relief so I can at least get through the next 2 days. I don't have to sleep. Just give me something so I don't itch and I can do this. So when you're on staff, you know, you just call it, oh, I'm sick, you know, and you're going to be paid at the same time.
Yeah, if you would look at those cards that I just handed out, tell me what's wrong with that card.
I didn't get it till the very last.
It's a trick. Okay, I'll give you a hint.
Should there be a comment after?
There's no email.
There's
There's
no
no email. I cannot believe I printed like 500 of these suckers, and I was like, oh, you idiot. Oh, you idiot. I couldn't believe it. So I spent so much time looking up a quote to put on there, and, you know, all this mess. And I'm like, yeah. So now I have to tell y'all my email, if you want it. I write it always on the back for people before I hand them out. But it's my last name, Dorman, D-O-R-M-A-N, an underscore mark, Hickson, Hickson, at bellsouth.net. And as I said, if I can help you, I would be glad to try.
You recommend they have business cards at this stage?
I really do. Actually, I do. I didn't think so, but it comes up a lot, and it's just, if you go to a meeting, and that's the other thing I would recommend, if there are organizations that you can join at the student level or whatever, you know, do it, because the more people you know.
She is the editor of the campus newspaper, and there
Oh,
are
that's
several
great.
people on, Brittany's also an editor with them, and so we've got
That is excellent. That is
others that
actually
write for
excellent.
it.
But at my level, I'm just now starting to join more organizations because the key is still about who you know. I mean, that part doesn't change, no matter what the platform, no matter what the whatever, it's still about people that you know. And so it just helps. And somebody suggested this, and I had never really thought about it. It's sort of obvious when you think about it. Don't just think about joining organizations that have more people just like you know, like more freelance writers, which is helpful and nice and all that, and it doesn't work sometimes. But think about joining things where people might be looking for writers, you know. They're not, something that, you know, maybe some, like scrapbooking or
I'm in the
something.
newcomers club, the Johnson